Good morning, students. Welcome to today's class. Dear students, today we are going to discuss the new lesson of your 10th standard English. That is Science and Hope of Survival. So before going to start the lesson, I will ask you one question. That is, what is science? You are all studying science, no? Then what is science? Yes, science is the systematic study of knowledge. So before going to start the lesson, I will give you one activity regarding this lesson. Open your textbook, page number 160. There are some pictures of different professions as been given there. And look at the pictures of different professionals. Which profession would you like to take up when you grow up? Can you tell us the reasons for your choice? You may follow the example. So here different types of different professionals pictures have been given, and you have to identify these professionals, and you have to write about your choice, what you are going to become when you are grow up. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವೃತ್ತಿಗಳ ಚಿತ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವೃತ್ತಿ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳ ಚಿತ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇವುಗಳನ್ನು ಗುರುತಿಸಬೇಕು. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನೀವು ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಬರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ಲೆಸನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. Science and Hope of Survival. The author of this lesson is Kellis Baroque. Kellis Baroque is the author of this story, and he only narrating this lesson. First, page number 161. I will read the lesson first. You have to observe my reading and pronunciation. Okay? Okay. If you are so clever, why are you so poor? Popular expression. Why is that some of us still decide to become scientists despite the fact that businessmen, lawyers and doctors enjoy a much higher income? A famous Russian writer, Leo Tolstoy, once wrote that a writer is not merely a person who writes. A writer is a person who cannot live without writing. The same, I believe, is true of a scientist. Science is an exciting adventure where major reward comes from the discovery itself. What you get instead of money is freedom, camaraderie, and independence. The honors and promotions will depend on yourself more than in other occupations, and you will have the overwhelming feeling of uncovering another one of nature's mysteries. An instant understanding, the efficiency of thought and action, and a good feeling that comes when the like-minded people work together. It was 1960, the height of the Cold War. I was in Moscow doing research on the theory of seismic waves. Tremors generated by an earthquake. It was observed in my problem. I enjoyed the mathematical challenge. I did not give much thought to how it connects with the real life. The summons came from the president of Russian Academy of Science. He had received a message from the palace of the summon came president of Russia Academy of Science. He had received a message from the Palace of Nations in Geneva, where technical experts from the Soviet Union, United States and United Kingdom, three powers possessing nuclear weapons, met behind closed doors. The president showed me a letter from Geneva. An American scientist, Frank Press, quoted my work while arguing with Moscow experts, and to my great surprise, I found myself in Geneva. At that time, every man, woman and child on the earth lived under the threat of annihilation by nuclear weapon. Each superpower had more than enough nuclear bombs to destroy the others in the first strike. But in the 20 minutes it took for the rockets to reach their targets, the other side had plenty of time to launch retaliation strikes, ensuring the destructions of their enemies only a few minutes later. This trait of mutually assured destruction with ominous acronym MAD was for some years the only thin thread protecting all of us from the common fatal fate. Continuing nuclear tests meant development of even stronger bombs, introducing even more imbalance into the global nuclear standoff. The three nuclear powers were willing to come to an agreement putting a ban on the nuclear weapon test, and hence the technical experts were summoned to solve the problem that arose. In formal terms, the problem was the following. Suppose that 1. The nuclear power had signed an agreement to stop the test of the new nuclear weapons, and second problem, one of the participants had violated this agreement and secretly made an underground nuclear explosion. The problem is, how can the other powers detect the violation? It turned out that this problem had a direct connection with the theory of seismic waves. Underground nuclear explosions produced earth tremors very similar to those generated by earthquakes. How could one distinguish the natural tremors from the ones produced by the explosion? Suddenly, my theoretical knowledge had a direct application in the area of survival of the mankind. So let's stop there. I will explain from the first paragraph. So if you are so clever, why are you so poor? Popular explosion. So if some people are very clever, but they were living in poor. ಕೆಲವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತರಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆದರೆ ಅವರು ಬಡತನದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಚಲಿತವಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧವಾದ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ. Why is that some of us still decide to become scientists, despite the fact that businessmen, lawyers and doctors enjoy a much higher income? So in our society, who had getting more money, who are earned more money is the businessmen, the doctors, the lawyers, and now the politicians. So they are getting more money, they are earning more money. Even though we know these things, that businessmen, lawyers, doctors, and politicians, they are earning more money. Even though, why is that some of us still decide to become scientists? But scientists, they are not getting more money. They have not that much of income. But even though some people are wish to become scientists, why? This is the question. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಈ ಲಾಯರ್ಗಳು, ಈ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳು, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಗಳು, ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳು, ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹಣವನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವರು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳೇ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆದಾಯ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೂ ಅವರು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಾಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. A famous Russian writer Leo Tolstoy once wrote that the famous Russian writer, that is Leo Tolstoy, he wrote that a writer is not merely a person who writes. A writer is not merely a person who writes. ಬರೆಯುವವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಬರಹಗಾರರು ಅಲ್ಲ. This is the definition of Leo Tolstoy about writers. A writer is not merely a person who writes. ಬರೀತಕ್ಕಂಥವರೆಲ್ಲ ಬರಹಗಾರರಲ್ಲ. A writer is a person. ಬರಹಗಾರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ who cannot live without writing. ಬರೀದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬದುಕೋಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಥವನು ಬರಹಗಾರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. See, a writer is not merely a person who writes. A writer is a person who cannot live without writing. A writer is not merely a person who writes. A writer is a person who cannot live without writing. This is told by Leo Tolstoy. So here, a writer is not merely a person who writes. A writer is a person who cannot live without writing. That is told by Leo Tolstoy. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಬರಿದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಬರವಣಿಗೆ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ತಾನು ಬದುಕೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾನೋ ಅವನು ನಿಜವಾದ ಬರಹಗಾರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. The same I believe is true of his scientist. So here the author is giving this example that he believes the same in the case of scientist. So according to author, who is scientist then? A scientist is merely a person who making experiments, but A scientist is a person who cannot live without science. ಯಾರು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬದುಕೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾನೋ ಅವನು ನಿಜವಾದ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ even though there are so many professions are there to earn money to get more income, but they choose the field of science because they can't live without science. We can give the example of Sir C.V. Raman. He left the more topmost paying job that assistant general of accountant he was become. He left that job for the science. So that's what is a real scientist. ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಆದಂಥವನು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬದುಕೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ನಿಜವಾದ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ an exciting adventure where major rewards come from the discovery itself. Science is an exciting adventure. Science ಒಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದಂತಹ ಸಾಹಸ. Exciting adventure where major reward comes from the discovery itself. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಗಳಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ some difficult words are there. I will write it on the blackboard. That is merely. Merely means only. What you get instead of money is freedom, camaraderie and independence. So if you want to become a scientist, you will not get more money, but instead of money what you will get, that is you will get freedom, you will get camaraderie and independence. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದೇನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಮಾನ ಮನಸ್ಸುಳ್ಳವಂತವರ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ. Here camaraderie means a feeling of friendship, a feeling of friendship a feeling of friendship when people work together. When people work together. ಸಮಾನ ಮನಸ್ಸುಳ್ಳಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಜೊತೆಯಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಸಿಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂತೋಷ and independence, ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. The honors and promotions will depend on yourself more than in other occupations. So in the field of science, the honors and the promotions will depend upon yourself, but in the other fields the honors and the promotions are depend upon your service. But in science, it's depend upon your knowledge. What you have discovered. So it depends upon that. Right? ಈ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳು, ಗೌರವಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಬಡ್ತಿಗಳು, ಪ್ರಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬಡ್ತಿಗಳು, ಅವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಯಾರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಬೇರೆ ಇತರ ವೃತ್ತಿಗಳಂತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಯಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಆಧರಿಸಿ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಆಧರಿಸಿ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ನಾವು ಏನನ್ನ ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡಿದೀವಿ, ಸಂಶೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಾನರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And you will have the overwhelming feeling of uncovering yet another one of the nature's mysteries. So, here one more word is there, overwhelming. Overwhelming. Overwhelming means a great effect, on you that you feel very happy. You feel very happy. Very happy. So here, when you are uncovering at another one of the nature's mysteries, ನೀವು ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೇ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರಹಸ್ಯವನ್ನು ಭೇದಿಸಿದಾಗ ಆಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸಂತೋಷ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ವರ್ಣಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಓವರ್‌ವೆಲ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ನಮಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವಾಗ when we are uncovering yet another one of the nature's mysteries. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ರಹಸ್ಯವನ್ನು, ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯ ರಹಸ್ಯವನ್ನು ಭೇದಿಸಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸಂತೋಷ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. One more word is there, difficult word, that is mystery. Means something that people do not know, anything about it. ಅಂದರೆ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತಿಳಿದೇ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ರಹಸ್ಯವನ್ನು ಭೇದಿಸೋದು. In an instant understanding, the efficiency of thought and action and a good feeling that comes when the like-minded people work together. So, F-press ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, an instant understanding, ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆ, the efficiency of thoughts, ನೈಪುಣ್ಯತೆಯ ಒಂದು ಚಿಂತನೆ, and action, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾರ್ಯ, and a good feeling, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಭಾವನೆ, that comes when the like-minded people work together. ಅಂದರೆ ಸಮಾನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಜನರು ಕೂಡಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೇನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಥಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎ ಗುಡ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ವೆನ್ like-minded people works together. ಅಂದರೆ ಸಮಾನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಜನರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಭಾವನೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಒಂದು ನೈಪುಣ್ಯತೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಸಿಗ್ತವೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ F-press ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. It was 1960, the height of the Cold War. So, the author is explaining about his experience. It was 1960, the height of the Cold War. So, Cold War means here that is unfriendly relationship between US and the Soviet Union after the Second World War. So, there was a Cold War between Soviet Union and United States of America after the Second World War was ended. So there was a situation of war, but there is no war in the at present. So the situation was there that at any time the war will going to begin. That type of situation was there, and that is called as Cold War. ಯುದ್ಧ ಎರಡನೇ ಮಹಾಯುದ್ಧದ ನಂತರ ರಷ್ಯಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಮೆರಿಕದ ಬಣಗಳ ನಡುವೆ ಏರ್ಪಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಆ ಒಂದು ಯುದ್ಧದ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ವಾರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. It was 1960, the height of the Cold War. So it was in the peak in that moment, 1960. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಒಂದು it was 1960, the height of the Cold War. So it has reached its peak in 1960. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1960ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಶೀತಲ ಸಮರ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಉನ್ನತ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ I was in Moscow doing research on the theory of seismic waves. So the author, Kenneth Barrow, he was doing research in Moscow about on the theory of seismic waves. Tremors generated by an earthquake. Tremors generated by an earthquake. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಭೂಕಂಪ ಆದಾಗ ಬಿಡುಗಡೆಯಾಗತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸೆಸ್ಮಿಕ್ ವೇವ್ಸ್ ತರಂಗಗಳನ್ನ ಕುರಿತು ಇವರು ಅಧ್ಯಯನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಮಾಸ್ಕೋದಲ್ಲಿ. Who is doing research about this? Kenneth Barrow. I was observed in my problem. ನನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಅವನ್ನ ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. I enjoyed the mathematical challenge. ಗಣಿತದ ಸವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ಎದುರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. I did not give much thought to how it connects with the real life. ಇದು ಒಂದು ರಿಯಲ್ ಲೈಫ್ಗೆ, ದೈನಂದಿನ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ತೊಡಗಿದ್ದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, let's stop there, children. I will continue the lesson in the next class. So take on the homework for today. Homework. It is first one. Why some people decide to become psychics? Despite the fact that other professionals enjoy much income. So this was the only one question I am giving you. You have to think and write the answer to this question. Okay. Okay. Let's stop here. Thank you. Thank you very much.